Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is HD StarCraft bringing you on a hot summer day semi-final B from the MSI tournament, StarCraft 2 tournament here, and the winner of this game will go on to play MVP Tails, who surprisingly took out Golden Light, that is, in a quick 3-0. It was 7-gate, 7-gate, 7-gate. So here we are. It is time for game 1 of semifinal B. We'll see what happens. It's d.Killer, the Peruvian Zerg, as the yellow Zerg at the 6 o'clock position on Metalopolis, and we'll see how he does against his opponent. It's Liquid.Taeja, recently joining Team Liquid last month. He's gonna be the blue Terran at just the northwest position of him at the 9 o'clock. Overlord will immediately get inside and do that scouting information it so desperately needs to do. And one thing I just want to point out right away about this matchup and how it's just kind of changed a little bit is the Queen buff and the Overlord buff. Overlords are now like Bugatti Veyrons. They're really, really fast. Look at that. And of course, the Queen buff is really, really nice as well because you can hold off Hellions very easily. Their range is like the tentacle mothership, man. It reaches out to everything. So you got to be wary of that if you're going for some type of a Hellion push against Zerg. Look for d.Killer here to go for his usual style. That's kind of like a Mutalisk into Ultralisk strategy. He might even go with more of a Infestor build. We'll just have to see what he decides to do. Overlord now going to turn around and do the mile-long lap back home, as there is a barracks coming up outside of the main base, but that's not too crazy, you know. Back when Terrans were doing this from Korea, people were like, oh my god, there's a barracks coming inside of the main base, it's going to be something crazy. But, you know, a lot of Terrans just do this now because it gives them easy access to attack to another location. It keeps the Zerg guessing because the Overlord doesn't know WTF to do, and eventually the Terran can just lift it off and bring it back home. And now the Marine is going to start to come outside of that barracks. The SCV is now making its way down south to get the scouting information it needs to do. Of course, Taeja knows that the Zerg has spawned just to the southeast of him because of the trajectory of that Overlord. There's no way, I don't care how fast an Overlord is, even if it's a McLaren F1, I think the Bugatti Veyron is faster than that, but it doesn't matter because you know the Zerg is just to the bottom right of you based on how quickly it got into your base. So there it is. Taeja is already inside the Zerg main right now. And he encounters the drone right away, but he's going to mineral walk his way through the drone and get over to check the timing on that gas, and there is a gas coming up. So now we'll probably see that first initial 100 invested into speed as the SCV is just going to park its way right in front of the natural hatchery. We'll see if Taeja decides to build a bunker or not. There's already 2 drones coming down, so I don't think he will, but sometimes Terrans will do it anyways because it's fun to do, and it really annoys the Zerg in many ways, more than one. I've been playing a lot of Terran recently, so I know how things go now for both Terran and Zerg. It's really fun for Terran to do. It's really annoying to play against if you're Zerg. So we'll see what happens. I don't think he will, though. He's already pulled the SCV and the Marine back, and the 2 Zerglings now going to go ahead and give chase as the SCV has gold minerals in its hand. It has to return this. I think it's 7 minerals. I think it's 7 instead of 5, so he's got to return that extra +2 to get back home here. There is a command center coming down, so that's to be expected. You know, most Terrans, they'll go for barracks into expansion against Zerg. The greedier ones will go command center first, but at the end of the day, all roads lead to Rome. You're going to see factories for tanks, Marine tank build. It's pretty much the stuff that Terrans like to do against Zerg. Zerglings here just kind of knocking on the front door. And in fact, they're already past the front door. They're knocking on the command center. And there's a macro command center coming on the way for Taeja. I like that. I love Terrans that go macro CC and bring this game really into the late game. The Zerglings eventually will have to be retreated because there's 4 Marines on the ground. But I like Terrans that go macro CC. Maybe it's because I'm a Zerg player, but I just like it when you go for that extra economy. Greedy sometimes gets you the win, and you know, for Zerg certainly that's the case, and we can see Killer going for another hatchery. Now, what's really going to be interesting to see is if Taeja decides to be extra greedy. I've seen Taeja do it before. He'll get the command center in base, and then he throws down double engineering bay, and he gets uber greedy and gets upgrades too. So if he does that, I mean, my mind's going to be equal to blown. That's going to be like a Thorzane playstyle. He always goes extra greed. But anyways, we do have a starport coming, and it looks like he's getting a tech lab on the barracks, so we are going to have Banshees coming out from that starport very, very soon. And you know, Banshees are really good. I like Banshees on this map with the spawns being the way they are. And if this Overlord goes down as well, that's even worse for Killer, because no, he will not let it go down. So he will leave the Overlord there. That's going to give him some sense of a pre-scout when that Banshee flies over the I don't know what it's called, a crevice in between the skyscrapers, whatever. And he's going to get some type of an inkling that the Banshee is coming, but this is going to be pretty important here. This next play, it's going to be a Hellion attack at the front, just to kind of distract the Zerg, see if he can get any damage in. But with the new Queen buff to range, it's probably going to be unlikely. What we're really looking to see here is how much damage Taeja can get out with this Banshee. Note, he is not going for double engineering base, so he's not going for uber greed. A lot of his play here from this game is going to hinge on this starport, on this Banshee. So we will see what happens. Hellion's now going to go ahead and roast up the Zergling at the Xel'Naga Tower. Third hatchery up at the bottom right here as Killer's just thinking, hey, I'm just going to drone up and play greedy all game long. He's already got his... Is that a hive? No, that's a lair. Okay, I was going to say that's a really fast hive, but he's got a lair on the way right now. And is the Banshee out yet? It is currently... Wait, it looks like he is actually going to go for... There is a Banshee out on the map, but it's very hard to see where it's at right now. I'm not too sure where it is. There it is. So the Banshee did come out, and then the starport lifted off and went somewhere else to become another building or something with a different add-on. But the Banshee now is going to be revealed because it went into the middle of the map. So really, Taeja's element of surprise here is gone, but he's kind of replaced that. He's kind of supplemented that with the ability to control the middle of the map. There are 5 roaches on the way right now from d.Killer, and knowing that there's a Banshee out on the field, he certainly can use roaches very effectively to attack the front door. It's just only one Banshee. It can't really do that much damage to his roaches, but the problem here is do his roaches have speed? And the answer is no, so it's going to be very hard for him to mobilize and attack with these roaches. He's probably just going to sit back and play the safe game. He does have an infestation pit on the way. He did go for evolution chambers, so we're not going to have Mutalisk. We're going to have the Infesterling Roach style that Stefano likes to use a lot against Terran. So this should make things pretty interesting. Command Center coming over to the 11 o'clock, and now it's a 3-base situation versus 3-base Zerg. No other macro CC coming up, but there is a double engineering base, so there is where the greed has been funneled towards more upgrades for the Terran player, and we do expect more barracks on the way as the Marine tank starts to make its appearance on this game. And it looks like Taeja might be gearing up for some type of play here. Maybe he's just looking to control the middle of the map, but I do really love how Killer has kind of this outpost of queens just ready to inject tumors, if you inject tumors onto the ground and get the creep spread. That's really important in this matchup, but it looks like Taeja knows all about that. He's going to deny the creep tumors, has medevacs on the field as well, so he can get the medevacs to elevator the Marines inside the main at the same time if he wants to, but I don't think he needs to. I think he can just play this game where he continues to pop off the creep tumors, control this Xel'Naga Tower. This is such a vital place. This is such a vital area to control because it gives you so much vision over enemy troop movement. You can even go extra greedy and take the other Xel'Naga Tower as well. So now all routes of attack are pretty much scouted out and revealed to the to you as a player, and that's a really nice thing to do. It looks like this Marine is going to go down, but for now the game really kind of settling down into that macro phase. Terran looking to deny creep tumor spreads, at least beyond this Xel'Naga Tower. Terran also looking to get his upgrades, get his tank count up and running. Zerg going to the 4th base, getting infestors out, starting to build up that energy on his infestor squad. He's got +2/+2 on the way as well, so the upgrade situation looks to be pretty close, as the Terran also has his +2/+2 on the way. What we're really looking to see here, I think, though, is for Killer to go into hive mode. He's got the infestation pit down. The quicker you can get hive, the more safe I think you feel as Zerg. It's a very similar situation to Brood War, where the Defiler was like the turntable unit for Zerg to have. In StarCraft 2, very similar. You want to get hive out so you can get ultras, and eventually, if you want to just bypass ultras, get Brood Lords out. Brood Lords are so good in conjunction with infestors. They really make the Terrans squirm in their pants. And you know what? I'm a little shocked that Taeja isn't, you know, taking advantage and being a little bit more aggressive against Zerg right now, because Terran's strength is mid-game and not late game. And there comes the infestors, bungling the medevacs and giving chase to the Marines. Very nice play right there. He might be able to chain bungle these medevacs down. Taeja needs to come and save these 2 medevacs, but he cannot do so. But he does have a Banshee in the background, picking off the infestors. He's been able to kill off 2 already. He might get a 3rd one. Will he be able to do it? I don't know, man. Those infestors are actually pretty quick when it comes to skirting on the creep, but it goes down. And so 3 infestors going down in that exchange. And really, Terran didn't lose much, just 2 medevacs. Those could be easily replaced. place. The Infestors, not so much, especially if he loses one more, but it doesn't look like Taeja is going to give chase all the way. But it certainly looks like he's going to make an attack here, feeling very confident after that last play. Coming in here, but his Marines, as long as they can hold their ground against these Lurklings and Roaches, I don't know if they can, though. That's a lot of ground troops for Killer, and Killer wipes out the tank count very handily without even any Baneling support. Some Zergs like to just go Ling, Infestor, Roach without Banelings at all, and you know what? It worked pretty well for Killer that time around, but there's another attack on the other side of the map. Taeja dropping off some Marines here, trying to get back and do some more damage. Surprisingly, when you look at the supply tabs, Taeja is winning right now, 152 over 138, even though he just lost all his tanks and his forces. But the one thing you've got to note here is Killer is saving up his resources for the Brood Lords, for the Greater Spire. And he's got Greater Spire on the way right now. He's at 800, 800. Adrenal Glands also coming out as well. The Crack upgraded with 3-3. All those Hive upgrades starting to make their way out. And what Taeja's trying to do right now is make an attack, try to crush the Zerg and own him before Hive is realized. Can he do it or not? He lost his tanks in the last engagement. He's trying to come up here with everything he's got. He's got to be very careful how he positions his units. He gets bungled though. What a huge bungle that was. And those Marines are very weakened. The medevacs will have to come in and quickly support and revitalize those Marines as the tanks continue to siege up. And that tank was just way out in no man's land. It does get picked off. And Taeja, you know, really bringing the thunder here to the Zerg player, and he's totally sieged up on the enemy creep. He's got an outpost set up as he's securing the gold expansion at the same time. So, you know what? If he can hold on to this gold, I've got to say, he might just be able to make a stand against the Zerg's late game Infestor Broodlord. In fact, will Killer be able to get Broodlords out is the big question here. I think he should wait to get Broodlords before trying to attack this army, and he keeps sending in his Infestors and Zerglings to just die. He's gonna now lose the macro hatchery. He's only got one Broodlord on the way. It's just not gonna be enough, and he's sending everything he's got in here, but the Infestors get splattered by tank fire, and now everything's just going down. Taeja's about to take a victory here. If Dignitas Killer cannot pull himself back together, he's gonna lose the macro hatchery for sure. And I don't believe it. Killer just not getting Broodlords out in time. Can you imagine just one Broodlord here would completely change the battlefield? The landscape of this battle would have been entirely different. And I mean, Taeja didn't even have Vikings out ready to go, so Broodlords would have absolutely changed the battle. And finally, it comes out. I mean, better late than never, I guess. And look, just the one Broodlord by itself scares away the entire Terran army, and you would bet we were going to see Vikings coming out pretty soon here from Liquid.Taeja. He's going to be switching up his starports, or at least starting to produce Vikings. There's the 2 Vikings in queue, in production. Really, it doesn't matter, though. I think Taeja has done enough damage, and he's even killed off that Broodlord that it just doesn't matter. Taeja is going to take this first victory in semi-final B. There is absolutely nothing that Dignitas Killer can do, and the first game of Korea versus Peru is going to go to Korea. GGG calls Dignitas Killer, and we are going to go on to game 2 very quickly here. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. This is HD StarCraft signing out.